sense. And we forget that we're dealing with our health in a way that if we looked at it in terms of finances or relationships or anything like that, it'd be absolutely insane.
Yes.
You'd be locked up for making decisions like that if you're the head of a company or a country.
And with all the obesity in Canada now and pre-diabetes, I mean, they say that 25% of us are pre-diabetic and don't even know it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's all liver and kidney issues. And what do those two things do? I mean, there are filters. They deal with effluent. So if those things are having problems, it's kind of like if your car's running poorly, maybe you want to check the air filter. Maybe you want to check the oil filter, right? Maybe you want to check those things out because you'd like to assume that at least the gasoline you're buying is workable for the automobile.
Sure.
And then it's that same sort of choice. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to put premium in, or are you going to put the cheapest stuff in? The fact of the matter is that people don't realize that in terms of our bodies, like, you're born a fast car. A lot of people are puttering around town believing that they're not a fast car, but the neat part about it is that we replace ourselves all the time. So you can go from a Honda Civic to a Ferrari if you want to. You can grow yourself into a Ferrari. It's totally a choice. And in that process, the only way you're going to get there is by putting in the premium fuel. That's really what the option is.
So how do you motivate people to do that, to put in that premium fuel?
Well, the interesting part about the work that I do is most people aren't actually motivated until they've painted themselves into a corner. So probably about 80% of the people I see on a day-to-day basis in my clinical practice are there because they're in pain. Now, they have another key factor, and that's frustration. Okay? There's a lot of people in pain, but the people I can work with are motivated, and most of them are motivated by basically a feeling that they're lacking support, that they feel like the medical system isn't doing what it promised it could for them, or that they're in that kind of revolving door. I had one fellow, kind of a classic example. He had a back problem. That back problem had surgery. He went back to what he was doing, which is completely backwards because he didn't change the way he was doing it. So the guy was cycling and running after his back surgery. They gave him the A-OK. 6 months later, he was in a wheelchair. He couldn't move his legs without pain. So he started coming to see me last August, and we had kind of some smart goals, like how do we measure your progress? And this is the other piece, is it takes a little bit of mission and vision to create the motivation for the individual. So he had some end goals he wanted to create, but our first measurement was, could he get from the clinic to his car about halfway down the block? And honestly, he couldn't. It hurt his back to walk that far. Now, that was, again, in late August. We worked together through September. He and his wife actually went away for about 4 weeks. I prefer not to lose people for a period of time once we get going.
Sure.
So one of the issues was compliance and the fact that he had 2 long breaks of a month to a month and a half. But steadily and slowly we progressed. He did the exercises. We changed his dietary stuff. We started hydrating him properly. And lo and behold, by around Christmas time, he was walking to the grocery store and back.
Wow.
We're talking about 8 or 10 blocks here.
Wow.
The crowning achievement was in late March or early April. I forget which. He and his wife were in downtown Vancouver at a hotel. They were at some sort of a event there, and they had dinner. And they walked 10 kilometers home from the downtown core to where they lived in Kitsilano that evening.
10K.
10K. And he walked in to the clinic the next day to tell me about it. And the only thing he noticed was that he had a little swelling, a little gout in his ankles from how much wine he had the night before. But that was it. No physical problems whatsoever. And they actually have spent a month and a half in Europe this summer doing a lot of walking and cycling tours in the south of France and also some stuff in Spain. So that's the stuff that it's about. And that's actually part of the answer to your question. Motivation has to be I want to experience this kind of a quality of life, that's X, doing this activity, which is Y. And so rather than going there and having to stick to cabs, being stuck just lying on the beach and doing nothing else, they got to do what they love. They got to cycle around, do wine tours, and
Sure.
et cetera, all the stuff that you're supposed to be able to do by choice.